The Oxford Student by Boo Huntington. The Oxford Student is met in lines 285 through line 308. Now, we meet him in this short little paragraph, and there's nothing much really more to base off of him in the prologue. But in this prologue, we find out that he is, in a ways, of a nerd. He is always dressed very, very proper and takes very high standards in his speech and his attire. He always has the finest robes and is dressed to proper attire. He also made sure that he had some sort of formulas to him, and in line 297 it says, "Then finest robes, fiddle or plastry," which a pastry was like a small harp type deal of his time. A philosopher he was, and yet his coffer, which is like a form of a wallet or a small chest, had little of the gold that it should offer. So this is also going back to the idea of how him being a student, he was very poor, very, very poor, and focused so much on his studies rather than actual money, and that he always had to be dressed properly as well. Also in lines 299 through 304, it shows that he is very poor and that he acquires money from other people like friends. Here's the line that says, "But all that from his friends he could acquire, he spent on books and learning, didn't tire of praying for the souls of all those who would give to help him see his schooling through, for study was the foremost thing he needed." And this just goes back to his idea of proving to you, the readers, that he takes studies and learning to his highest, most important thing on his list. Not food, not money, not anything. Strictly his learning and what he can take from that. And this doesn't necessarily show him as being a good or bad guy. It's just that he simply loves to learn, and that's all you can really say about him. He loves his studies, he loves books, he loves the way he speaks, he loves his clothes. He always wants to make an appearance and always wants to be as smart as possible. In lines 293 through 295, it says, "For he would rather have take at his bed ahead some 20 books, all bound in black or red, or Aristotle and his philosophy." This is just saying, once again, how I need to reiterate the point of how learning and books and studying is his most prized possession that he has. And if you were to relate him to modern times, it would be of a character of Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory, focused solely on exploring his mind and educating himself and furthering his knowledge to make sure that he is one of the smartest. And he constantly this Oxford student would rather teach and learn to his fellow companions. And in line 308, it says, "And gladly he would learn and gladly teach." This is showing how he wants people to understand how smart he is and teach them as much as he can. This would, depending on who you are, in my case at least, would get somewhat annoying at certain times, but also very teachable person. And I would suggest, if he was ever with you in a time for Halloween, since that's right around the corner, you could very well expect him showing up in a full William Shakespeare type of dress, holding the skull and all. Besides this, not very much is to say about the Oxford student, and that is really all you can take away from this short little paragraph he has in this prologue. Yet, he is, in my opinion, going to be very significant, and by the way it seems, is very intelligent.